So I think it's fair to say that things are going very well for Nerdrosoft at the moment. We have over $3.5 billion, and I will never spend that money. I have no idea what we could even begin to spend that money on that wouldn't be silly. We've talked about this before. Basically, the only thing I could do with that money is spend it on purchasing other companies. Now, interestingly, Cyberding Studios in 9 years, less than 9 years, has become a $1 billion company. That's kind of curious. Now, we've looked at this company before and we've seen what exactly it is that they do. They invented 3 things. Now, one of those released relatively recently. It really didn't make all that much in the way of profits, but they did invent 3 things. It's also their most recent release. Outside of that, they seem very good at purchasing things that other people make. Some of those things look to have been really profitable, and some of them look to have lost some money. This was actually one that they made, but for the most part, they have become a $1 billion company, presumably through a combination of purchasing things that don't belong to them originally, and also by investing in their own company. They have $500 million in the bank. They are worth double that because they're investing their money instead of just hoarding it the way I am. But that's fine. That's my choice. Now, I've been thinking a little bit about what I'd like to do between now and the end of this season of Software Inc. Because as we've talked about before, we're getting there a little bit. There are a few things I would like to work on. One of those is, of course, a final entry in the Space Command franchise. So we just put out Space Command 5. It is making really good money. It is outstanding and inspiring. And I would like to start working on Space Command 6 because, again, it is going to be the last one in the franchise. So what we're going to do with Space Command 6 is give it sort of an open end. That's my idea here. It's going to have a bit more of an open end to it in that it's going to have a branching story. It's not going to be an open world. We've already played around with that for Sally Stabby Face. If you've been paying attention to the series so far, you'll know that we're working on that. It's an open world FPS. It's great. It's going to be amazing. But what we'll do with Space Command 6 is give it a branching story. It's kind of going to be like Mass Effect 3, where there's 3 different endings, except ours are actually going to matter. When it comes to 3D graphics, it is an RTS. We don't need to go too crazy with this, and we do need to remember it is an RTS. But I want to say facial animations. I want to say VR, because I think a VR RTS would be kind of cool. That seems kind of neat. We could maybe do some digital exclusive music. I don't know if I want to do that. I think we're kind of good with where we are. Now, we could get rid of lead designer IP ownership. I don't think we need to worry about that either. Wacky physics, I don't think we need to worry about that. I think we're good with where we are. We're going to have huge amounts of wasted interest in this, which is totally fine by me. We're going to go in here at $75, Space Command 6, all the usual setup. It is going to be an existing framework. Hopefully. I'm not too sure if we can get away with this, but we'll see how Commander 2 is looking here. It looks like basically all of the tech on Commander 2 is going to be a little bit outdated. Audio is still fine, but multiplayer, everything else, it's all outdated. That's totally okay, though. I'm not super worried about it. We'll continue on and see if we can use my own stuff for this, which I'm certainly hoping we can. We can use Pixel 9. Can we go ahead and use, we can't use Voxel 6. We'll use Render Pro 2. That's honestly okay. Not the end of the world. And the audio tool will be Echo 7. As for operating systems, we'll do the usual mix of, let's say, the top 3 plus Frame OS 3. And then we can port it to everything else down the line. We're going to be looking at nearly 4 years of development, which isn't good, but we'll manage. And I think what we'll do is just mark it towards gameplay a little bit. We could go towards story, and I mean, if we analyze the market, we're probably fine where we are. We could go a little bit more this way and sort of balance things out a little bit more towards gameplay and graphics and just see how that goes. And if we continue, this is going to be going to whichever team Bella happens to run, which I, for the life of me, do not remember. It might be game dev one day. It absolutely is. And that's who's going to be leading up this entire thing. That's that's going to be the idea for this entire thing. No publisher, of course. This is probably the last thing Bella is going to be the lead designer on from start to finish at the company. So you know what? Let's start doing it. Let's get working on Space Command 6. I'm excited about this one. It's gonna be good is what it's gonna be. I'm also wondering what exactly that game dev team is doing, because they did have a task there. So if we sort by names, game dev 1 day, and we look at their tasks right now, they are porting Space Command 5. That checks out. That's honestly okay. I would imagine we do have, porting 2 working on that as well. So that's all right. We'll kind of let them just, churn that over and get to work on it. And I'd also like to see Space Command 5, 14.7 million. Nebula just did 5.8. And Sergeant Stabby Face 3, 4.8. So we're doing good. We're still getting multiple millions of dollars per everything that we're releasing. And that's before we even take into account that next month, we're doing Notebook 4. In May, we're doing Plumbob 4. And then in June, we're doing FrameOS 4. We have a really, really stacked 2017 ahead of us, and I'm very excited about it. Now, I will say, before we get to all of these releases, I would like to try and do something about my business reputation. It is still pretty good, and we do have deals coming through for hosting and print jobs that we can stay on top of, so the hosting is no problem, and the print jobs, we want these done by December and October. I don't think any of that's going to be a problem. I don't even think this June one is going to be a problem, so we'll get all of those done, and that'll help the reputation just a teeny tiny little bit. But what I would like to do is have a look at some more basic contracts. So a website in this case is a 2D artist. So giving that to the 2D design team sort of makes sense. We'll have Bobby. We'll have Bobby. Bob Newby, Bobby, whatever. We'll have him go ahead and lead that one. This embedded system is systems. So I think it probably makes sense to go and get just the systems research guys working on this. I mean, they're admittedly working on some other things as well, but you know what? It's probably fine to give them a little something to do in here. So we'll go ahead and get that going. A logistics application is systems and 2D. So I think in this case, we could just give it to the 2D editor team again. They'll manage, and we'll give it to, I don't know, Tammy Hopkins can lead this one up. Game assets is 2D and audio. So we'll give it to the 2D team and also the audio guys. And again, similar story. We can have me lead this one up. We haven't had me really do much in a little while. So we'll accept all of that. And if we have a look at these contracts, even though the game is running at normal speed, this one is going super quickly. We'll go ahead and start developing it, which is just art. We'll start developing you as well. And we can, we finished updating Space Command 5. Good. We'll get that out the door. We can kind of sit on these guys for a month. There's not really any reason to massively rush them. I think these guys are where they need to be. So we'll promote it. And I think we'll just sort of let them sit there. We can send them off next month. We can get them at a really good quality. We can get a really nice bonus to our business reputation, which will bring us up to 5 stars. And that's kind of what we're looking for. We want outstanding quality. We want Nerdrosoft to be a company that everybody loves and adores and that everybody knows is a great business. And I'm also realizing we can patent Systems 2016. So I say that we're a great company and that everybody knows and loves us, but we have been charging royalties for basic systems research for a very long time, since 2003, which made us $203 million, $208 million here. We've made $1.4 billion on royalties alone since 2003. That's not bad. that's not bad, and I'm not going to hear otherwise. Now, we have just released Notebook 4, which is outstanding and inspiring, which is lovely. That is what I want to see. And so if we have a look at the Notebook project, we should be supporting it. We are marketing it. And I'm assuming at some point we will get that thing updated as well, which is absolutely fantastic. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Immediately working on Notebook 5. It will be releasing September 2019. So 2 and a bit years from now for Notebook 5. We'll see if that comes about. I really don't know on that one. I'm not going to lie, but I'm hoping for good things. Notebook 3 made 66 million. Notebook 2 did 33. Notebook did 73. Can Notebook 4 make more than any notebook before it? That's going to be the real question. I don't know. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't, but it would be nice if it did. Now, the good news is that with a few contracts done, we have managed to get up to a 5-star business reputation. I don't know if I'm too concerned about cranking that up to 6 stars right now, but we'll do that eventually. We're also looking at $17 million in Space Command 5, 5.8 on Nebula, 4.9 on Stabby Face 3. And I should probably mention, you might be noticing that some of the project management tasks are suffering a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, some of these guys might be off getting educated. Before I hit the big old record button, I did send some people off for a little bit of education. So let's have a look at the management. Let's sort by teams here. And we need to find the management updates team is what we're looking for. So management updates is you. You are in class. So yes, some of these team leaders are in class. They are being educated. That is why their projects are suffering a little bit. That's also why we keep seeing a lot of people that need education down here. I can send some of them off. Some of them should get automated. Not really sure what's going on there. Not really too concerned about it. Everything should be fine. Now, these guys, some company, which company? This company has started selling more shares. That's interesting. How much do I have right now? 46%. So if I buy out these shares, I could take over this company now. What does this company do? You guys have Render Pro? Interesting. We've been using that. I am inclined to take them over and make them a subsidiary. I'm not going to give them $354 million. I think that's silly. I will give them $249 million though, which I think is a fair amount of money. They're getting more money than my other subsidiary got, which is maybe a little bit unfair, but I'm willing to give them this much money because I think that's probably fine. So they are now worth $249 million. They were founded in February of 2004. They have 4 products and they specialize in exactly the same things as my other subsidiary. So this might not have been a worthwhile takeover, but it's all right. It's totally fine. They specialize. Yeah, they literally specialize in exactly the same things as my other subsidiary. I don't know if this was necessarily a good idea. Who is complaining about working too many tasks or long hours? It is someone in the Porting 3 team. Interesting. How many tasks does the Porting 3 team happen to have right now? 9. No, wait, that's not it. 9. It does have 9 tasks. Okay. Interesting. What do you do right now? You're going to be on, by the looks of it, just solely something that's project management. Ooh. I wonder, does Porting 3 happen to do? Yeah. Porting 3 happens to be working on the updates project. So I think what we can do, they're still going to have a lot of tasks, but I think what might make sense is duplicating Porting 3. Maybe we do a day and a night shift here. What if we copy this team and do Porting 3 night? Reasonably could just be Porting 4, but we're going to put them in the same office, which is why I make this distinction. So we'll do Porting 3 day, Porting 3 night. We'll have you guys come in at, I think it's now 6 p.m. and you leave at 2 a.m., which is fine. And we'll just have a night shift come in here and do their thing. What I would also like to, actually, I was going to say we'll bring in another team for this, but no, I think we are bringing in a night shift here. So we'll just see how the night shift does on the updates project alongside the existing team. Yes, they're both going to have 9 tasks, but my hope is that they will get through them quicker because we're doubling the number of people working on it. It's 9 people working on all of these updates. It's going to be 18, which is better. Whether or not it's enough, I don't know. What I would like to do first, though, is go to traits, and I want to make sure that we have some night owls because I think that's important. And then we can, start hiring people once we get a team leader and all that good stuff. First things first, we're going to put them into those spaces, and I want to select this space as well and say that switch team to porting 3 night. So those are now shared spaces, and we can hire ourselves a leader who is also good with programming. We need HR, and let's say socialization, let's say multitasking. I don't know if that's all going to be all that useful, but we'll see. In terms of skills, we have Chris Morgan. You can do HR and socialization, a little bit of multitasking. I think that's fine. So we'll bring you into the porting 3 night shift. We'll get you hired and get you set as a team leader so that we can get these guys in here as quickly as possible. So we'll manage you as a leader. We'll take you off of everything else just for the time being, and we'll see how that goes. That should be good. And then we can go to updates and we can say that the porting teams working on this will now be porting 3 day and porting 3 night. I like the idea of that. I don't know if it's going to be all that good. I don't know how big of an impact it's going to have, but I'd like to figure it out is what I'd like to do. Now, Plumbob just released Plumbob 4. It is outstanding, but ordinary. That's interesting. That's very interesting, because what that means, and we did see it here, Bobby Vargas has been narrowed down to 69% creativity. That means that Bobby, as a lead designer on Plumbob, is not necessarily a good pick, which is slightly problematic, and I don't necessarily love that. So if we were to look into Plumbob 5 and have a look at a lead designer for this one, we have Ulysses Crane working on it by the looks of it, who has been narrowed down to 72% and ordinary. Or yeah, okay, so you're maybe not that good. You could be narrowed down a little bit. I don't know. I don't know who we want working on this. You're a little bit above. I mean, you're both ordinary in terms of creativity. I think Rob Duffy, you could be fantastic. You've got no skill in antivirus, but we're gonna have Rob Duffy be the leader for the next Plumbob, which I'm sure, by the way, I'm sure Plumbob 4 is gonna sell. It doesn't need to make much. Nerdrosoft Notebook has made a little bit of a profit, which is something. It really doesn't need to make much, and Plumbob 3 did 32 million, so we'll be fine. I would just like it to be a little bit more than ordinary. Although, to be fair, Nebula was ordinary, and it's doing okay, although I think the printing costs are absolutely killing us. Oh, now this is good. We've been nominated for 4 of 4 awards. Best Employer, I'm assuming, as is tradition, is going to go to me. Best Product might be somebody else. It isn't. It's Notebook 4. Best Designer, I'm guessing, is... Ooh, controversial. Although I like that Bella got something. I'll take it. I think one of my subsidiaries got Best Designer. And Most Profitable Product was me with Sergeant Stabby Face 3, Knife to Meet You. So, interesting little detail about the awards that you won't have seen. Why are the... Oh, they're silver. I thought they were platinum for a second. I just got really confused. You might notice that the Best Employer Awards are gone. I actually cut this out of the last episode because that episode was going to end up being like... after like the first edit of that was like an hour 20 something. I know it was still over an hour long, but a good chunk of that was me moving the Best Employer Awards onto this wall because we just don't have the space up here for all of the awards, and I don't want to have to build another secure space for the awards. Now the good news is ain't nobody stealing those. Those are fine. those are safe. These ones might be slightly trickier, but it does mean we have a little bit more space now for some more awards, which I think is lovely. I do really like this. I think this looks really, really cool, especially when you consider that we have the 2012 Platinum Award right here with those in the background. It's just a very, very cool looking space, and I happen to like it a lot. So that's something you won't have seen. I know I could have put some shelves up here, but they behave in kind of a weird way, so it's whatever. Oh, Edith Terry, 64% creative. That's really bad. Which means that FrameOS 4 is probably just ordinary, right? It is actually, it's inspiring. It's great and inspiring. Okay. I will take that. It could be better. FrameOS 3 was great and inspiring as well. I would like to give them more time, I think, is what I would like to do. I would like to give them a release cooldown of 1 month, an iteration cooldown of 2 months, maybe 160% development time, and we'll just see how that goes, is what we'll do. They can handle everything for FrameOS 4. We have January 2022 as the release for FrameOS 5, and the lead designer here, 64% ordinary. I don't know if I want you to be the one doing it. I don't like that this is sparse marketing as well. That kind of concerns me. I think Olivia Colon, we're going to give it to you because there's a possibility that your creativity is going to be really just up there, which is kind of what we want. Now, I don't understand why the marketing is bad on this, and I'm curious to see how much it has to make to break even. 3 million, it should be able to do it. It should be fine. We should be all right with that. Also worth pointing out, Space Command 5, very close to 100 million right here. Sergeant Stabby Face 3, 152 million. It is up here as the 7th most profitable piece of software that we have ever released. I also really like seeing that Nerdrosoft Echo is in here a few times. It is numbers 3, 4, and 5 in our top 5. That's a nice touch. So it's just hit me that I haven't really been supporting Nerdrosoft Nebula. It has a lot of active users, but it also has 1,600 verified bugs. It's also a little bit outdated on a couple of fronts here. So we're going to bring all this up to date, and I would like to go in here and just see, we'll have the updates teams deal with this, and I want the phone team to deal with this as well. So 5 teams, 1,593 bugs, quite a bit of updating to do there, but I'm going to make that a top priority, which does mean that the phones team will be working a little bit less, perhaps on Xbox 360. We'll bring that down to an 8, because I do think this needs to be the top priority, because I am noticing that Nebula is making a little bit less and less in terms of money, and I would like it to make a little bit more. Also worth pointing out is that we actually have 3 more releases this year, which is wild. We have had a release in April, May, and June already. We're looking at 2 more releases in October. So that's going to be Voxel 7 and our first Nerdrosoft Sports Ball. And then in November, we have Echo 8. This might be the busiest year for product launches and releases that we have ever had with this version of Nerdrosoft, and I'm very excited about it. I would also really like to look into, that thunder is so loud. I would love to look into getting King Doom out the door. It's taking forever. It's art that's holding us back. So I think what I'm going to do is have a little bit of a look at these game dev teams. It is Game Dev 2 that's working on this thing, and we have some space up here that I think we can use for Game Dev 2. So I'm going to just assign both of these. So if we look for 2, we're going to assign both of these rooms, which gives us room for 8 more employees on the Game Dev 2 teams. So HR management, I want more artists. I think we need more artists. So let's do, I don't know, let's do 4. So we'll do 7 artists in total. We'll do 8 and 8. So that's 4 more artists, 2 more designers, 2 more programmers. That is the 8 more employees for this. So 8, 8, 7 is what we're looking for both of these teams. So you go to 8, 8, and 7. And my hope is that by doing this, we will have some more employees come in here who are going to be a little bit more capable with 3D and audio art, and that might increase the productivity and just get King Doom out the door that little bit sooner. I was hoping for 2017 on this one. It is likely going to be a 2018 release at this point. I mean, it is going to be a 2018 release at this point, but it would be nice if it was, it'd be nice if it was done now, is kind of what I'm getting at. Oh, now this is interesting. Voxel 7 has gone out. Peggy Quinn has a creativity of 60%. That's really not very good. This is outstanding and ordinary. I can deal with that. I can deal with outstanding and ordinary. Voxel 6 was a couple of years ago. It did 79 million. This needs to make just over 1.1 million to break even, which I'm fine with. Voxel 6 was good and inspiring though. So who was our lead designer on Voxel 6? It was Freeman Holt, who has retired since the release of Voxel 6. That's upsetting. That's upsetting to read about. I don't love that. That hurts me in my soul. I guess what we'll do is have Alberta Lane go ahead and take over. You're pretty skilled in 3D editors. You're inspired. Hopefully your creativity is going to be better. We'll let you take over and lead that little project moving forward. I'd also like to see where Kelsey Becker happens to be. Kelsey Becker is the team lead for the Voxel management. Kelsey is still in class. I think Kelsey might have been educated in quite a few things. That's why the Voxel project is really struggling here, because their leader is and has been in class for about a year. That's probably not a good thing. What is a good thing though is that King Doom has sped up a little bit, so it's 100%. Oh no, you're back. Good. It has sped up. The art is moving a little bit faster now. So I'm going to take a risk. Oh wait, we've never done King Doom before. What am I saying? I was going to say, when was the last one of these released, but we haven't done it before. So it's an RPG. What have we got in terms of the event calendar for 2018 in terms of role-playing games? We have none. Okay. In that case, let's have King Doom be a big, it's October 2017. Let's say October 2018 for the release of this. And we're just going to go for it is what we're going to do. So October 2018 for the release of King Doom. We can start marketing this thing pretty much instantly, which I think we'll go to marketing for the press release there, because they don't have a lot going on. The press build, we're going to sit on a little bit. And for the hype, we'll have marketing for deal with that one as well, because they're really not doing too much else. So we'll give ourselves a year of marketing this. That seems fair. The art still has a little bit of a ways to go, so not super worried about it. Speaking of a ways to go, updating Nebula is still taking some time here. Is it making money? It sort of is. 17.6 on Space Command 5 as well is a huge amount of money. So we're doing all right. We're definitely doing all right. We also have Sports Game. Good old Sports Ball is due to go out this month. It hasn't yet, but it'd be nice if it did. It always concerns me and gets me a little bit worried when something hasn't released from project management. Is it good? It's outstanding and it's inspiring. I wasn't expecting that for Sports Ball, but okay. Sure. I was not expecting that. How much was it? 1.3 million. Okay. So it was a little bit more expensive than Voxel. That's fine. Do they have a cooldown? They don't have a release cooldown. They don't have an iteration cooldown. They're aiming for November 28th. They're aiming for next year for Sports Ball 2. Oh my God, this might end up being a yearly thing. That's amazing. Oh, if we can actually pull off a yearly, like, sports game franchise, I will be so impressed. I will genuinely be so impressed if we can pull this off. We just did $69 million in sales last month. Sports Ball just did 3 million. Voxel 7 did 6.6. In the past month, we did 20 million on Space Command, which is ridiculous. Can we see a total for the last? We just did, 53 million. That's so good. I'm so pleased right now. I cannot believe Nerdrosoft Sports Ball just made money. That is all sorts of silly. And we're not done. We have Echo 8 that's due to go out any second now as well. I'm so genuinely blown away right now by how much we're doing. We're also being robbed just to top it all off. Are they going to get in? No, they're not. I love it. Even if they did, they're not taking anything off that wall. They can have all of this. They're not taking my best employer awards. And I suppose it just makes sense that Echo 8 is outstanding and visionary, because I'm the lead designer. Of course I am. Of course it's outstanding and visionary. How much does it need to make? It needs 1.3 million. That's so good. So how many things? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6 releases in 2017. That's kind of a big deal. And then we have Pixel 10 coming up in February. And then we basically have, well, hold on a minute. I've just realized these releases tend to get brought forward. So these guys might turn around Nerdrosoft Sports Bowl 2 in, oh my God, it might be less than a year to put out the sequel. If we actually manage to pull this off and we actually end up with a successful less than yearly release cycle for Sports Bowl, I will be so thrilled. You have no idea. I will be so happy to see that happen. Now, 21 million, Space Command 5, Nebula's down to 1.1 million or 1.3, Stabby Face 3, 6.8. This Nebula update is taking forever, but I want it done. I don't want any bugs left in this. I love the idea of the company being like, hey, we've had an amazing 2017, so to give back to all of you, we know you've been a little bit disappointed with the progress and fixing some of the known issues with Nebula. What we've done, here's a PDF file of 1,744 bug fixes, along with an update to bring all the systems up to the modern standard. Merry Christmas, there's that update. We can also market King Doom, which is great. It has 21 followers, which is about what I expected for something that we're not known to do. Oh man, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Let's see here. We have some hosting. We'll go ahead and take that. We have some print jobs. We can totally manage those. No problem whatsoever. Do we want to start taking some more contracts to bring this business reputation up to 6 stars? I feel like we could. We have some websites here. It's just 2D stuff that we need to do. So we'll give that to the 2D editor team. And even with it completed, it basically did nothing for our reputation. So I'm really not going to worry too much about it. I think we're doing all right. I think my business reputation's about where it needs to be. What I'm curious about is how Nebula's going to do with this update. 1.3 million to 1.4. It didn't really do anything, unfortunately. We didn't really get a jump there. We do have Space Command 5 dropping off a little bit, which is a concern. If we look at updates, they're working on a bunch of stuff. Hopefully they manage to get it all done. Oh man, I don't like seeing things drop off like that. I really don't. I mean, we still just made 50 million in profits. Last month was 72 million in profits with 92.5 million in sales alone. So very hard to complain about that. That might be the highest profit that we've ever seen. That's actually kind of wild. That's actually kind of ridiculous. That's a lot is what that is. That is actually a lot. I'm really pleased, man. I genuinely am. Sports Bowl is successful. Voxel 7 successful. Space Command 5 is now the 3rd most profitable thing that we've ever done. I like that the top 4 are video games. I love that Sergeant Stabby Face 3 has moved into the 4th spot. That makes me very happy as well. And if Space Command 5 keeps going, it needs to make another 177 million, but it could become the 2nd most profitable, which would also be amazing. So something that I've noticed when it comes to the issues that we have in the top left, specifically with regards to the products running out of stock, that's basically my sign to add that product to the updates project. So I've just added Echo 7 because I was told it was running out of stock. It released almost 3 years ago, so they basically don't deal with it in the main project anymore. I think what I'm going to do is put Nebula in there as well, so that I don't need to manually deal with updating it anymore. And I'm hoping that as a result of doing that, it'll continue to make money and sell and do good things going forward. And obviously we can work on a Nebula 2 at some point. I just really want an Xbox 360 out the door. And I'm noticing that it is hardware and audio design that are a bit of a struggle for the console and phone teams. Now, if we look in here, we have more than enough designers. I just kind of wonder if we look into maybe the phone team and what is it we're struggling with? Hardware and audio. So they have a decent number of hardware designers. They actually don't have any good audio designers here. They have the hardware, they don't have the audio. If we look into the console guys, they have one audio designer. They have a good amount of hardware, but not that much in the way of audio. That's interesting, is what that is. So I wonder if getting some more audio designers into that console team might be an idea, or should we start looking at night shift versions for the console guys and the phone guys? And I'm going to be honest, I kind of want to do that because it takes way too long to make these things. Now, I will say, I know Software Inc. is one of these games where more isn't necessarily better. You don't need to double up your teams. You don't need a situation where you're saying, hey, you know, the 20 people working in this console aren't enough. Let's do 40. That'll double the speed. It doesn't work that way. But my hope is that by getting a night shift team, at the very least, we will get a different mix of talent. And so where we're, you know, lacking in hardware and audio design, we might have some better hardware designers and better audio designers, or more of them, to pick up the slack where these guys are struggling a little bit. That's my naive goal. I will admit that it is a naive goal, but that's my naive goal. So the console guys, we're just going to do console for now, and we'll see what we can do with this. If this ends up being sort of a success, then great. We will do the phone team at another time, but this is my plan for the time being. So console night, it's going to be right here. We can go ahead and say that, yeah, we'll just do these offices here. So let's go ahead and say console night shift right there. And we'll have a look at the console night shift team and make sure the HR management is set up how I would like it to be, which is all of this. That's totally fine. The traits, I want night owls. And I want to say, I want more artists. This makes a lot of sense. Instead of this, let's do 12. Instead of this, let's do 7. And we'll do, actually, no, we don't need more artists. So this was 14. This was 9. We needed more designers. Let's do 12. Let's do 11. Let's do 11. Let's do 4. Let's do 10, 10, and 6. We'll do it this way. I don't know if art is something we're struggling with on this. You know what? We'll do 5. We'll do 11. That'll be okay. That's going to be our night shift for consoles. We'll see how that goes. I'm content with that, though. That seems totally fine. So we need a leader for this now. We need a good team leader. We want something like HR. We want something like multitasking. And we're going to want something like socialization as well. So we'll bring all of these over. Compatibility doesn't matter. Traits don't really matter. Let's just see what we can do. And you know what? I want a designer as secondary. And we have you. Francis Campos, you can do a few things, but you can absolutely do HR. You can do multitasking. You can do socialization. So congratulations. You're going into my console night shift team. We will get you hired. And if I look at that team and go to employees, we're going to set you as a team leader and then secondary designer. And I also want you to be a mentor. So we'll see how that goes. Either way, console team 2, our console night shift, should start to fill out relatively quickly. It is filling out relatively quickly. So my hope here is that I can now go and say console night shift can pick up Xbox 360. They can also, keep in mind, Xbox 360 is not even in active development. It is still being designed. We can put them on the controller as well. The hope here is that this will now be enough to deal with all of this. That's fine. Fire inspection, whatever. The hope here is that we will pick up the slack on this. This will go a bit quicker and everything should be good. The good news as well is this technically frees up the phone team, right? They're upstairs. We can now just go ahead and work on another phone. What are you actually doing right now? What are you doing right now? What is your current, what is your task right now? I actually don't know what the phone team's doing. If we look at the phone team, they're gonna be up here. They have a task, Xbox 360 design. Are they still, did I not take them off of that? I guess I didn't. Okay. Let's take the phone guys off of that, because we don't need to worry about that anymore. And hopefully everything's gonna be fine. And then what I'd like to do, I suppose, is start working on another nebula. Man, we're doing a lot. I feel like we're doing a lot, but yeah, we'll just do Nebula 2. And I guess, I mean, Nebula was quite simple as well. We can throw a few things in here. Let's do a unified search. Let's do widgets. This is going to be like the last hardware thing that we put together. So we'll go kind of all out with this. We'll do speech recognition. We'll do super optimization. We'll do a fingerprint scanner. We'll do file encryption, and we'll do themes. And honestly, that's about it. I'm really not interested in going too crazy with this. We'll do 365 as the price. And the design on this, honestly, I feel like we had a pretty good design. I really do. Maybe we'll take the curve away completely from the back. We'll make it even thinner, just because that seems like the right thing to do. And the notch, we're going to take that away. And the screen height is going to be a little bit higher. Screen height at the bottom is going to be a little bit lower. Screen width is as wide as possible. And the phone itself is going to be a little bit wider too. So it's just thinner with a bigger screen. That's basically what we're doing for the sequel. And I'm kind of okay with that. I really like the blue on the back of it. Maybe the new one is, instead of that, going to be like a sort of more on-brand kind of Nerdrosoft-y color. I don't know if I love that. I don't know if I love that. What if we did black around the edges? That's not terrible, actually. I think that's what we're going to do. That's going to be Nebula 2. So we'll use an existing framework as we do. Frame base, I guess, is the name of this one. It is almost out of date everywhere. But honestly, that's not bad. That will speed things up quite nicely. And if we have a look at this, we don't need to worry about operating systems. We'll go all in on simplicity and customization this time. And this is going to be going to our phone team and our phone team. Interestingly, missing a level 2 audio designer. That's surprising that the phone team is missing a level 2 audio designer. I'm a little concerned about that. But sure. Yeah, that's fine. We'll have them develop it anyway. We'll just have to hire a night shift for the phone team as well, I guess. That's kind of what we've got to here. So let me rename the phone team to Phone Day, and then let me just copy them the way we always do. So Phone Night is what we'll go for. We'll get those guys to 6 p.m. and 2 a.m. And I guess we'll go to HR management. We'll change things up a little bit here. So we don't need art on this, from what I gather. In fact, do we? Now that I think about it, do we need artists for this? We do actually need an artist for this. Bring this down a little bit. Let's bring this down to 12 and do 4. Let's bring this down to 10 and do 10, I think is what we're looking for. This seems good. And for traits, we want this because they're going to be working the night shift. Okay. So that's the day shift. I just messed up. That's annoying. That's really annoying. I don't know what my layout was for this before, but you know what? Oh no, I do know what it was. It was 16. It was 8. It was 3. So that's fine. I just messed up my day shift a little bit. It won't really have done anything. HR management for these guys, I think was, so this is what, 24. So it was 10. It was 10. It was 4. And then these guys have the night shift. That's what we need. So with all that sorted out, with the phone night team in here, we've gotten rid of the complaint about there being someone, a lack of qualifications. We've also just released Pixel 10, which is outstanding and inspiring. So that's going to be more money for the company, which is amazing news. This has been a wildly successful episode, and I feel like it's been really productive. At the same time, I feel like I've done nothing because I've just sat here and watched things get released, which is fair enough. This thing is apparently moving into its next phase next month, so we're going to finally see whether or not we're going to get Sports Ball 2 in November, which is a wild idea. The legal team just lost its leader. We're getting a lot of that. It's getting to be a problem, but you know what? It's totally fine. Let's see if we can't find someone for the legal day shift team. You can do HR and multitasking, so Brandon Bishop, congratulations. You're going to my legal team is what you're doing, and you're going to be team leader. Everyone else probably should just be set up as whatever role they were hired for, but we'll not worry too much about it. What I would like to see is whether or not bringing in these new teams is going to speed anything up. Now, Nebula 2 is being designed relatively quickly. I don't know if Nextbox 360 is moving any faster, although it also looks like half of the night shift team hasn't bothered to show up yet, so that might be a little bit of the problem here. Yeah, the night shift team here isn't fully staffed yet, and same thing with the night shift team here. So it's going to take a little while for those to actually get fully staffed, but that's honestly okay. I'm hoping that things work out. It does look like this is speeding up, which is great. And it does look like Sports Ball 2 is aiming for November 2018. That is wild. That is actually kind of wild that we might pull that off. I'm genuinely quite impressed. Oh, hold on a second. We've received a platinum award for winning best product 5 years in a row. Little bit of a spoiler, but I think we might be getting best product in here. We also got best employer, as we usually do. Best product this time around was Echo 8. Best designer was me, because of course it was. And most profitable was Nerdrosoft Notebook 4. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I don't think I've ever had a platinum best product before. That's new, is what that is. And I'm very much okay with that. That's a good one, is what that is. That is a very good one. Unfortunately, it seems like I might not be able to get these lights to line up exactly how I'd want them to. So I'm going to get rid of those, and we're going to try somehow to get this all to line up, which is going to be a bit of a pain. Could I maybe put a different desk in here? Could we do something like this desk in the middle of that hallway? It looks like we could. It does have some stuff underneath it, but that's all right. We'll put it here, get rid of you, and we'll get my other platinum award for right there. Look at that. Look at that. That's so good. I'm so pleased right now. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm so pleased right now. I'm having a great time. I am having a great time. Oh, I'm so happy with this company. We'll do something like that so it kind of matches the vibe that we have going on. That looks so good. And then we have these. We don't even, oh wait, we do have room for all of this because these go up here, because of course they do. And then we fill up the shelves. We got so many awards. I'm so happy that they've not been stolen in so long. You have no idea how happy that makes me. Oh man, Nerdrosoft is going so well. It really is. Like, it's genuinely going so well. We got King Doom going out in just a couple of months. We've got Sports Ball 2 going out in just a couple of months as well. I don't know if that's going to be good. I don't even care anymore. I just don't. Sports Ball did $49 million. Nerdrosoft Echo 8 is coming up at $100 million. It's already like approaching the top of the company. Like we're approaching $4 billion, man. I don't know what to tell you. Space Command 5 is on its way to overtaking Space Command 4. I don't know if it'll do it. It might. Like, look at these numbers. Look at these numbers, man. Look, I'll be honest. I know this season of softwaring hasn't been as creative as the others when it comes to building things. And I know we sort of got into project management a little bit earlier than we do sometimes. And I know that's not for everybody. And I do apologize. I will say, I do think this has been one of the most successful softwaring seasons in terms of like optimizing the game. I don't think I'm perfect by any means. I know I've made so many stupid mistakes, and I've seen people mentioning, like, how did you not notice the laptops for the project management teams? That was the problem for so long. And I get it. And it's wild. I love that after 10 years of playing this, I still have things that I'm learning. I love that the game is still here. I love that it's still getting updated. I love that it's still getting worked on. And I love that I'm still, you know, able to play it here on the channel, and people are interested in Software Inc. and excited to see what we do with it. I love coming back to this game. I really do. It is, I said it towards the start of the series. I've said it a few times throughout the series. I love that we do this. I love that I get to do this. And I'm already looking forward to doing this again next year, because I'm already thinking about what I would do differently, which is a crazy thought. It's also interesting to think about where Software Inc. is going to be in a year. Every time we come back to this, there's always a handful of new features. So I don't know. We're not done. This isn't the last episode by any means, but you know, like I said in the last one, we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. So I'm excited is what I am. I am excited. I'm also excited to get, you know, up to $4 billion. I don't know if we've ever done that before. And I do think I'm excited to see Sports Ball 2 go out. I think that's going to be my goal for this episode. I want to see if Sports Ball 2 is any good. Also Notebook 5, I guess. We'll see if that's any good as well. We've got our first release aiming for 2020. Oh, Voxel 8. Not bad. What did we just do? Sports Ball 2 just got released. They just put that out early. And now they're aiming for October next year for the next one. Was it any good? It is mediocre. Okay. Yeah, that checks out. It has already made a profit though, which is amazing. Who was the lead designer on Sports Ball? It was Quincy Cole. I think Quincy was the lead designer in Sports Ball 2 as well, right? Yeah. All right. So a year to make these is not enough. It has made money, but a year is not enough. Let's give them 120% development time. They did it in less than a year, right? When did Sports Ball 1 come out? October. So they did it in 10 months. So if 100% is 10 months, 120%, my math might be a little off here, but that might be exactly a year. I can't believe this thing made money. It's mediocre. It's our first mediocre release in a very long time, but that's hilarious that we actually managed to pull that off. I'm really pleased about that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm genuinely quite pleased about that. I'm also quite pleased that Xbox 360 has picked up a little bit, which is great. Nebula 2 is coming along as well, which is great. All in all, we're doing pretty well, and I'm really pleased with where we are. We also, of course, have King Doom going out next month, which I'm going to be honest, I slightly forgot about. Let's send out a press build for this thing. We'll see if we can't maybe get, you know, a few more followers on that before it goes anywhere. I'm hoping for good things on this. I'm really hoping for good things on this. I'm also keenly aware that Sally Stabby Face is very close to its alpha phase, which is also very exciting. I'm just really excited. I'm just really enjoying seeing the success that we've built in this company over the course of the last 20 something episodes. I think this is also one of the longer Software Inc. seasons that we've done. They usually, for the last little while, last couple of years, I think they usually round it out around 15 episodes or so. And there it is, $4 billion. $4 billion. That is wild. And Sports Ball 2, 1.4 million. That's it's just ridiculous. It'll get updated. It'll get worked on. That's fine. Let's go ahead then and release King Doom. I want to see how it goes. We're looking at no one knows who we are. That's fine. It is 5 stars in terms of quality, and it's 4 stars here. I'll deal with that. I'm totally fine with it. I want a $75,000 marketing budget on this guy, and I want to give it to marketing 4 because they're not doing too much right now. So that's perfect. We have some research done here, which we can go ahead and start patenting. We'll move King Doom up to the top because I want to see how it goes. And I guess support for King Doom is going to move up to here. And that's going to go to, let's have a look at my support teams. Who's not doing much? Well, support 4 is going to be stuck with it. Now, in terms of updates, this thing is a little bit outdated. We need to bring all of this up to modern standards as quickly as we can. We'll go for Pixel 10. We will go for Voxel 7, and we will go for EmpLab, which is not one of mine, but that's totally fine. And then I guess the people working on this will be Game Devs 2 Day and Night. Okay, so hopefully we can get that update done. As always, we do like a good day one patch around here at Nerdrosoft, so hopefully that won't take too long to do to bring everything up to that modern standard. And hopefully we end up with a good piece of software. It's outstanding, it's inspiring, it needs 3.2 million to break even, which is quite a bit of money. But I think we can do it. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't actually look like we're going to be doing the day one patch. It's going to be a day 2 patch and might include some bugs. We did get the marketing done though, which is great. So minus $75,000 is going to turn into hopefully a profit. We are looking at $3.9 million. I can deal with that. I can absolutely deal with that. $3.9 million is not bad. We have some things running out of stock, which is fine. Like I said, all that means is that I need to go in here and control click on whatever is not getting dealt with. So in this instance, the only thing I'm manually dealing with now is King Doom. Everything else in here, if it needs stock, it's handled by this task. And generally speaking, they're all being updated as much as they need to be. It's all going well. We have over $4 billion. King Doom has been a success, very small profit, but a profit nonetheless. Quite happy about that. I love it. I really do. And not that many bugs either, which is great. So by the looks of it, we should be able to get some people in here. We have finished the update. So it's now to a modern standard, which is great news. We have Nextbox 360 very close to being done with its design phase. Sally Stabby Face very close to being done. Space Command 6 very close to being done. Nebula 2 is going to take a minute, but that's okay. I think all in all, if we look at our charts and I just sort of go in here and turn basically everything off for a second, I would kind of like to look at some numbers before we wrap things up for today. So this is our balance over the course of the last, well, almost 40 years. It's interesting how for quite a while it was sort of increasing and then it just sort of shot up a bit. It's just been almost exponential at times. It has been a little bit crazy how these numbers are going. It's also interesting looking at the dips where I'm, buying out companies and then it just shoots back up within really no time at all. That's a fun little trend. If we look at sales, we're doing, the peak that we've had was $92 million, $92.5 million in a single month. The previous was 71.5. That's so good. That's so good. I would like to look at royalties as well and see how that's going. So royalties have been, we were paying more for royalties than we were earning for quite a while. The most we've got out of them was 19 million in September 2010. We've actually been earning a little bit less on them over the years, which is interesting to pay attention to. But we're still getting a few million every month out of royalties, which is fantastic. I love it. I really do. That's very, very cool. The balance for the company has been sort of all over the place, but again, you can see those dips where we bought out other companies, and look at that just skyrocket. As soon as, the 2000s came around, I mean, 2000 was a pretty average year, but 2001 onwards, it just starts to climb so rapidly. It's almost vertical in places. I love that. Anyway, looking at the numbers here, King Doom has become a success. We'll see whether or not that continues to be the case going forward. I do realize we need to port it. That's the one thing I haven't set up to do right here. So let me have a look at my game dev teams. We've got these guys needing to do some stuff, and I want my my porting teams. We've got you and you. In fact, none of you are doing anything right now, so you're all going to work on this. Active users, we're going to go for anything over 100,000 users, which includes FrameOS 3 and FrameOS 4, which is amazing news. That's actually kind of huge for us. I'm very, very happy about that. So we'll get that ported, and we'll start working on it. We're hopefully going to see some increases in sales from doing this. It's a lot of porting. It's a lot of work, but they'll be able to do it. I have every bit of faith in them. And I'm also keenly aware that Notebook 5 goes out this month. So I'd like to see how that does. I'd like to see where that is. And then I think we can move to wrap things up for today. Like I said, this has felt quite productive. I feel like we've done some good here. I still love that Sports Ball did sort of manage to become something of a yearly franchise, even if the quality wasn't very good. That's totally fine. That's great. That is a great thing. That's something I've always wanted to do in Software Inc. is have a yearly sports franchise. Unfortunately, it's not very good, but we did manage to do it. Now, we are halfway through the workday. Are we going to see Notebook 5 go out? I don't think we've had anything delayed yet. I don't think anything's missed its release window. And there it is, Notebook 5. It is outstanding. It's inspiring. Notebook 4 was outstanding and inspiring. It did 40 million. This needs to make 1.2 to break even. So let's see. Is it going to do 1.2 in a single month? It is going to do 2.3. Not bad. I'm pretty pleased about that. We are now in the year 2019. We have some releases. We have a release lined up for this year, Plum Bob 5 in March. We do have Sports Bowl 3. And we will likely see, oh no, FrameOS 5 is January 22. That's a few years out. That's 3 years out. We might see Voxel 8 move into 2019, but we'll leave that until the next episode. In the next one, I do expect to move all of these into the alpha phase. I'm hoping for good things. I want to see Xbox 360 go out. I want it to be a success. I don't think it will be, but I want it to be, and we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that is going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.